Hello student. In this session I am going to discuss about observation of protein, lipid and carbohydrate digestion. The observation of end product of lipids means glycerol and fatty acid. The observation of carbohydrate digestion, that is the glucose, galactose or lactose. The observation of protein end product of protein digestion, that is the amino acid or dipeptides or tripeptides. So how actually these are absorbed by the wall of small intestine? Actually, the mucosa layer of small intestine, which is designed in such a way that they can easily absorb these substances. The wall of epithelial wall of small intestine, that is the epithelium of mucous layer, which is known as the enterocyte. They have some of the gates or the door through which these substances entering into the epithelial cell. And below the enterocyte, there is the capillary, which take off the absorbed digested substances. So suppose that this is the serosa layer, this is the outer layer, but inner there is the folding, the finger-like projection into the lumen of the alimentary canal, which is known as the villus. So this is the villus, V-I-L-L-U-S. This is the singular. So the villus, microvilli and the plica circularis, these three things increase the absorptive surface of the small intestine. Okay, so plica circularis, villi and microvilli increase the absorptive surface. So this is the fold of the mucous layer, and here the outer lining, which is outer means the inner lining towards lumen. Okay, towards lumen, it is lined by, internally it is lined by cuboidal or columnar epithelium, mainly columnar epithelium. Okay, so each villus has the individual circulatory system. It means the villus, it get the blood through the circulation, okay, and the venous blood also released through the another blood vessels, and there is the branching of capillaries also here. There is the branching of capillaries. So these are the venous capillaries, these are the venules. So the villus, it get the blood through this red colored blood capillaries, and the venous blood which comes out from the villus through this green colored capillary. Okay, again this villus, it has also the another blind and lymphatic vessel. So this is the lymphatic vessels, and it is the blind end of lymphatic vessels supplied to the villus. I have already told about this. This is the lacteals. This is known as the lacteal. This is the lymphatic vessel. Lymphatic vessel, or which is known as the LACTEAL. This is the lacteal. This is the structure of one villus. This is the finger-like projection towards the lumen. So this is the lumen side, and here this is the epithelium, the mucosa layer. this is the mucosa epithelium, and here if you take the section, then you find, if you take the section, then you find, so this is the, suppose that the basement membrane, and here is the epithelial, individual epithelial cell. Okay, and this is the apical surface, this is the apical surface, and this side, this is the towards basement membrane, this is the basal surface, basal surface, and this side, this is the basolateral side, this side is known as the basolateral side, basolateral side or surface. So apical membrane, the free surface of the apical surface, there is the folding, and these are known as the microvilli. These are the microvilli. Okay, and here suppose that you magnify the structure of the one microvilli, suppose that. So this is the folding of the plasma membrane, and which form brass bordered epithelium. This is the nucleus, and all organelles are present here. So this side, there is the some protein channels, there is the some protein channels through which the digested substance may entering into the cell, may entering into the cell. Okay, suppose that there is the protein channel through which one substance entering here and another ions or any substance which goes out, one come in and another come out. Suppose that another channel, suppose that here, and they bring two molecules in. So these are the different channel or the doors through which the substances may enter in or get out. Okay, now if this type of channel, which is known as the uniport, this is known as the uniport. Here both the substances from outside entering in, or both the substances they get out, okay, in one direction, and which is known as the co-transport or symport, symport, or which is known as co-transport, co-transport. Okay, if both the substances, when one entering in and one get out through one channel, one gate, or by the help of one protein, then this is known as the antiport, antiport. So I mean that such epithelial cell, this is known as the enterocyte, this is the enterocyte, enterocyte. So this enterocyte, it has the different doors through which substances, only the substances from lumen entering into the cell, such gate is known as the uniport. Or if one entering in, then one substance get out, and this type of gate is known as the antiport. If the one or both the substances from outside entering in, or two substances, they combinedly go out or get out, and such type of gate is known as the symport. So there is the protein channel. So these are the protein channel, or these are the proteins gate which helping for the entering in or the get out of the substances, and these proteins are known as the carrier proteins. These are known as carrier proteins, or these are known as the transporter. These are known as transporter or the carrier protein. Okay, and you can say these are the channels. And another thing is that, so here import, if suppose that there is the another fold, suppose that another microvilli, okay, but there is no protein here, suppose that there is no protein here. So this is the plasma membrane lipid bilayer. Suppose that one substance here present here and directly diffuse to inside, or the substances from higher concentration to diffuse to outside along the concentration gradient. Now, so this type of diffusion, which is known as the diffusion, this is known as the diffusion process. This is known as the diffusion. So the substances may entering into the cell through the diffusion process, or it needs some of the channels, some of the carrier protein, some of the transporter protein, which are present in the plasma membrane. So the enterocyte which contains number of channels, number of doors, ion channel or the different substances channel or the carrier proteins are present, which helping for the intake of substances or push out the substances from in to out or out to in. Okay, so now the two substances which move in same direction or in opposite direction. So this type of transport is known as the co-transport, or this type of transport is known as the coupled transport or the co-transport. So this is known as the coupled transport or co-transport, which is known as coupled transport or co-transport. If the substances diffuse automatically from a higher concentration to the lower concentration, and which is known as the diffusion process. This is known as the diffusion process. If the substances entering into the cell from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, there is no need of any energy, then this type of transport which taking place along the concentration gradient, there is no need of ATP energy, and such type but it needs the carrier protein or the transport, which is known as the facilitated transport. These coupled transport, it may be primary active transport or secondary active transport. Primary active transport or secondary active transport. So what is the meaning of active transport? This is the transport of substances occurs with the utilization of ATP. This is known as the active transport. If the transport of substances using the ATP, then which is known as the active transport. So you can say these are the two types. One is the primary active transport, directly utilize the ATP, sodium and potassium channel, very good example. Another may be the secondary active transport, we will discuss later. So secondary active transport means sodium dependent glucose transporter. This is the channel. So the glucose which entering into the cell, it depends on the ion, another ion, that is the sodium ion, suppose that. So this gate is known as the sodium dependent glucose transporter. So this is the secondary active transport. Here there is no direct utilization ATP, but they utilize the chemical gradient. They utilize the chemical gradient, I will tell later. Okay, so these are the different transport system which present in the enterocyte of the alimentary canal or the small intestine. So this is the one villus, there is the lacteals, this is the lymphatic blood vessel, this is known as the blind end of the lymphatic blood vessel supplied to the villus known as the lacteal. I have already told this lacteal, and this is the villus. If you take the two epithelial cell or the single epithelial cell, so this single epithelial cell or the mucosa epithelial cell, which is known as the enterocyte, the free surface, it becomes number of folds. For the increase of the absorptive surface known as the microvilli, and these cell they have the number of gates. It may be the uniport gate or the antiport gate or the symport gate, uniport gate, which allow the only molecules in one direction. This is the uniport, and this gate which are the protein, carrier protein, which allow the substance in opposite direction known as the antiport, and this is the gate or the channel which allow the two substances in one side from out to in or in to out. This is known as the symport. These are known as the coupled transport or the co-transport. And here suppose that there is no need of carrier protein or the transporter, then this type of diffusion or the transport along the concentration gradient, this process is known as the diffusion. If the substance which needs the protein from the concentration gradient from higher concentration to the lower concentration, then this type of transport is known as the facilitated transport. So this is the diffusion, simple diffusion process. This is the facilitated transport. There is no need of energy. If the transport system it take the energy, then which is known as the active transport, the transporting system which utilize the ATP, then which is known as the active transport. It may be again primary active transport or the secondary active transport. The primary active transport means if ATP directly utilized for the transport system, this is known as the primary active transport, sodium potassium channel. Very good example. The secondary active transport, there is no directly utilization of ATP, but they utilize the chemical concentration gradient. Okay, and the very good example is the sodium dependent glucose transport. So first come to the transport or the observation of glucose. Now come to the observation of carbohydrate. So the end product of carbohydrates, so the disaccharides, it may be maltose, lactose, sucrose. So these are the disaccharides. So the maltose which break into two molecules of glucose. Okay, lactose which break into two monosaccharides. One is the galactose, another is the glucose. The sucrose also break into one the glucose molecule monosaccharide, another is the fructose. So these are the monosaccharides. The end product of carbohydrate digestion which is the glucose and the galactose and fructose. So these are the end product of the carbohydrate digestion. So the maltose, it is digested by maltase, lactose, it is digested by the lactase, sucrose which is digested by sucrase or invertase. So how these end product, the glucose, galactose and fructose are absorbed. So here the fructose, it is absorbed by facilitated diffusion. It is absorbed by facilitated diffusion process. but the galactose and glucose, they are intake by the secondary active transport. So how it happens? So suppose that this is the enterocyte. Okay, this is the enterocyte. So first step, at the first step, the basolateral wall, that is the one transport. It throw 3 sodium ions out and take 2 potassium in. Okay. So this transport, it throw 3 sodium ions out and it take 2 potassium in, and this channel is known as sodium potassium transporter or channel. And this type of channel, this is which type of channel? So both the molecules, they move in opposite direction. This is known as the antipode. This is the antipode transporter. And here it utilized ATP. So it utilized AP. That's why this is the primary active transport. So this is the primary active transport. So continuously this channel, it throw 3 sodium ions out and take 2 potassium in. This is the enterocyte, this cell, this is the enterocyte cell. So what happened? Now the concentration of sodium ion, it goes down inside the cell. When the concentration of sodium goes down inside the cell, then which trigger the another channel? Which trigger the another channel present at the apical surface. So this is the apical surface, this is the basal and the basolateral. Okay, so now, so step 1, the antipode, which throw 3 sodium ion out and take 2 potassium in. Because of the functioning of such antipode or the sodium potassium channel, this is the primary active transport. So because of such primary active transport, there is the decreasing of concentration of sodium inside the enterocyte, and which trigger the another channel. It means that when the concentration, sodium concentration goes down inside the cell, which trigger this channel. Okay, and here suppose that this is the lumen site. So glucose, here glucose is waiting for the absorption. So glucose, this is the higher concentration, that is the lower concentration. It means that this is the concentration gradient. Likewise, there is higher concentration of sodium ion in outside of the cell. Why? So more and more sodium pushed out. That's why sodium concentration is more in outside of the cell. So this sodium which entering into inside the cell, because there is low concentration, there is the high concentration, it means that the concentration gradient is helping for the entering of sodium ions. When the sodium ion entering in, with the sodium ions, the glucose also entering in. And this type of channel, when both the molecules entering in from the out, this is the one type of co-transport or the sim transport. And this is the secondary active transport. Why? Because the concentration gradient means when the sodium concentration goes down here, but the sodium concentration is peak here or the higher here, then the sodium from outside entering the in. So sodium entering in, with the sodium, glucose molecules also entering in. So this type of channel is known as the co-transport, and glucose and sodium entering into the cell. This is the secondary active transport. This is known as the secondary active transport, and this channel also known as the sodium dependent glucose transport. This is the sodium dependent glucose transport. So this is known as the sodium dependent glucose transport. Okay, so through this process, glucose and galactose entering into the cell. Okay, so how fructose entering in? So another gate also present here, and through which, this is the protein channel, suppose that, through which fructose entering into the cell. And this channel means this is the protein channel. So this allow only fructose from out to in, and this is the higher concentration and that is the lower concentration. So fructose entering into the cell inside the enterocyte, and this channel at this transport is known as the facilitated diffusion. This is the facilitated diffusion. Okay, and this channel, which also known as GALT5, this is known as the GALT5. Okay, this is the GALT5, through which the facilitated diffusion occurs, through which fructose is absorbed or entering into the cell. When the glucose and fructose entering into the cell, such fructose also convert into glucose inside the enterocyte. Now, the basal side, there is another channel. So below such enterocyte, this is the blood capillary. Okay, so now the glucose from enterocyte, which pushed to the blood capillaries. The glucose which pushed out by the facilitated diffusion process. So there is another channel, this channel, which helping for the export of glucose from in to out, means to the blood capillaries, and this process is known as the facilitated diffusion process. So this is the another channel here, and this channel is known as the GALT2. This is the GALT2. So there is the GALT1 to several number of GALTs are there. This is the step 3, the facilitated diffusion, and this is the step 3. So by these 3 steps, glucose is absorbed by the enterocyte. The step 1, the primary active transport, which thrown 3 sodium out and take 2 potassium in. Sodium concentration goes down, which triggers the secondary active transport, and here this active transport channel which bring glucose and sodium or galactose and sodium out to in, and this is known as the sodium dependent glucose transport, and which also known as SGLT, So this is known as the sodium glucose linked transport, SGLT. This channel also known as the SGLT, so the sodium glucose linked transport, through which sodium and glucose entering into the cell. After the absorption of or the entering of the glucose into the enterocyte, now glucose comes out through the channel. This is the through the process, this is the facilitated diffusion. So this channel present at the basal region known as the GALT2, through which glucose comes out and glucose entering into the blood capillaries present below the enterocyte. Now such glucose is transported to the liver, through hepatic, suppose that this is your liver, through hepatic portal vein, So this is the absorption process of the glucose. Now come to the absorption of protein. So the end product of protein digestion, which is amino acid, this is my amino acid AA, and the dipeptides DP or the tripeptides TP. Suppose that this is my enterocyte cell, and below the enterocyte, this is the blood capillaries. This is the blood capillary. Okay. So now, absorption of amino acid is similar with the process of glucose. So there is the channel here, this channel which thrown 3 sodium ion out and take 2 potassium in. So with this channel, with this sodium potassium active transport, with this there is the decreasing of concentration of sodium inside the enterocyte cell. When the sodium ion decreasing inside the cell, which triggers the another channel, present at the apical surface, and this channel is known as the amino acid transporter. This is known as the amino acid transporter. So through which amino acid entering into the cell, but it take the help of sodium ions. So this is the one type of co-transport. So amino acid, it is absorbed by the secondary active transport system. So with the sodium potassium active transport, the concentration of sodium goes down inside the cell. When the concentration of sodium goes down inside the cell, which trigger the amino acid transporter present at the apical surface of the enterocyte cell. And here, so there is the outer side, this is the lumen side, that is the higher concentration of sodium, that is the lower concentration of sodium. When the sodium entering into the cell, the amino acid also utilize such benefit. So amino acid and the sodium both binds to the co-transporter, and such co-transporter helping the transport of amino acid as well as sodium here. So this is known as the secondary active transport. Okay. Next, how dipeptides and tripeptides entering into the cell. Okay. So there is the gate that is the gate, and this gate allow the dipeptides. This gate allow the only dipeptides, and that is the gate, it also allow the tripeptides, and these gates are known as PEPT1, peptide transporter 1. So these are known as peptide transporter 1. So this gate is known as peptide transporter 1. Okay. So now, the transport of dipeptide which utilize proton, means H plus ion. They utilize H plus ion. Here the amino acid utilized sodium ion, but here the dipeptide and tripeptide utilize the proton. So dipeptides and the protons both entering into this transporter which is known as the PEPT1. So this is here is the proton and this is the dipeptide. Now the same thing happening here. The tripeptide as well as proton also entering in here. This is the tripeptide. So this is one type of symport or the co-transport. So the dipeptide and tripeptide, it is absorbed with the helping of the protons, and it utilize the channel PEPT1. So now the higher concentration of proton also goes out through the another channel, and which utilized the entering of sodium ion also. So now the one proton goes out and one sodium entering in. Okay, so which balance the protons inside the cell as well as outside the cell. So this is the process by which absorption of peptides, dipeptides, tripeptides as well as amino acid taking place. So after digestion, what happened here? This is the enterocyte cell. There is the another enzyme peptidase, peptide digesting enzyme. This peptidase which act upon dipeptide and tripeptide and forming the free amino acid. So these are the free amino acid. So now here is the free amino acid. So these free amino acid goes to the blood circulation or the blood capillaries present below the enterocyte. This is the my blood capillary present below the enterocyte cell. So there is another channel, that is the another channel which helping for the transport of amino acid from into out, and this channel, this is the amino acid transporter, and it allows the amino acid from into out, and this process is known as the facilitate diffusion. Now such amino acid bring to liver through the hepatic portal vein. So it liver. So the amino acid which bring to liver through hepatic portal vein, and liver, the amino acid which is utilized for so many things, formation of proteins, different types of proteins form inside the liver. So this is the process by which amino acid and the tripeptides are absorbed. Amino acid or the free amino acid, it utilizes the sodium ion, but the tripeptides, they utilize the proton or the hydrogen ions to absorb. Okay. Now come to the absorption of lipids. Now come to the absorption of lipids. So the end product of lipid digestion, that is the glycerol and the fatty acid. Actually, the large fat molecules or the droplets, that is the cholesterol or the triglycerides, not absorbed directly. So such large drop of triglycerides or the cholesterol, first it break into smaller particles by the help of bile salt. So suppose that this is the large drop of, suppose that this is the large drop of fat molecules. So this is the large droplet of fat molecule. So with the help of bile salt, such large droplet which break into smaller droplet. Now these smaller droplet is known as micelle, M-I-C-E-L-L-E, the plural form micelles, M-I-C-E-L-L-E-S, micelles. So the bile salt which surround these smaller fat droplet, which surround these fat droplets. So now suppose that these are the head portion and this is the tail portion. So this is the bile salt. These are the bile salt. So bile salt which cover up the glycerides or the fatty acids. Glycerides and the fatty acid. So the large fat droplet, it may be fat or the cholesterol or the triglycerides, by the help of bile salt which becomes smaller particles, and with the help of pancreatic lipase, such triglycerides which digest into fatty acid and glycerol. So at the center there is the fatty acid or glycerol. Okay. So now fatty acid and glycerol, now it is soluble to water, because the head, which is the head, these are the bile salt. So this is the bile salt, and the head portion which is water hydrophilic. This is the hydrophilic. Now these micelle, these are the smaller particles, the center, that is the fatty acid or the glycerol, and which is surrounded by the bile salt. So because of such bile salt, this fat becomes soluble. So this is the insoluble, which is insoluble in water. Now it is soluble in water. Now it is very easy to digest. So number of micelles are present. So this is known as the micelles. Now how the absorption taking place here? So the absorption process, which is very simple here. So there is the lacteal, this is the lymphatic vessels, lymphatic vessel known as the lacteal, and this is the enterocyte cell. So suppose that This is your enterocyte cell. This is your enterocyte cell. So these micelle which bring the fatty acid and the glycerol here. Now inside the enterocyte cell there is the endoplasmic reticulum. Inside the enterocyte cell, endoplasmic reticulum present here. So when the micelle bring the fatty acid and the glycerol, then at the apical surface these glycerol and fatty acid free from the bile salt. So this is the bile salt. Now this bile salt transport to liver for resynthesis of bile, okay, or reutilization of bile. So this is the resynthesis of bile. So what about glycerol and fatty acid? So glycerol and fatty acid intake by the apical surface of the enterocyte. This is the enterocyte epithelial cell. Now these glycerol entering into the endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum which convert these glycerol and fatty acid into triglycerides. As well as now such triglycerides which is covered up by the protein. And this molecule now known as the cyclomicrons. So this is known as the cyclomicron or chylomicron, whatever may be. So this is the cyclomicron. So these glycerol, so these are the glycerol or the fatty acid. So fatty acid and glycerol entering into the enterocyte cell by the process of diffusion. Okay. So here there is the lacteal. So this cyclomicron entering into this lacteal or the lymphatic vessels. So suppose that this is the lymphatic blood vessels which carry the cyclomicrons. So because of the presence of cyclomicron, these lymphatic blood vessels which becomes white in color, which is known as the chyle. So this is the absorption process of the fat. It is very easy. So large droplet of fat, it may be the cholesterol or it may be the triglycerides which break into smaller particles by the help of bile, as well as the pancreatic lipase which digest the fat into the fatty acid and the glycerol. Now the fatty acid and glycerol which is covered by the bile salt, and bile salt it make such fatty acid or the glycerol as the water soluble, because the bile salt, the head region faces towards the outside, which is the hydrophilic, and these micelles it bring the glycerol and fatty acid to the apical surface of the enterocyte. Now the bile salts detach from the glycerol and the fatty acid, and bile salt which goes to the liver for the reutilization or the resynthesis of the bile. Now the glycerol and the fatty acid which is intake by the enterocyte by the process of diffusion entering into the endoplasmic reticulum where protein synthesis is taking place, and the protein which cover up the fatty acid. Now the fatty acids convert into the triglycerides. Now the triglycerides which is covered up by the protein synthesized from the endoplasmic reticulum. So the outer covering which is the protein. Now this structure is known as the cyclomicron. Now cyclomicron entering into the lymphatic vessels, and the lymphatic vessels which carry the more triglycerides, so it appears milky white in color, known as the chyle. Okay, so this is the whole about of the observation of the protein, lipids and carbohydrate. And in my next video I will discuss about different types of respiration found in animal kingdom. Thank you for watching.